When talking about loyalty in anime and manga, a few names show up, but one name stands above all else, and that name is Roronoa Zoro. When we first meet Zoro, he is seen crucified on Shell Island, an island we reach after Luffy and Kobe wash on shore. We see Zoro partaking in a vow to butt chin face, to not leave the cross for 14 days, even though he could easily break out. This is a clear showing of loyalty to his promise and his word. Another great example of this, actually, is his promise to Kuina, his childhood friend. They make a promise that one of them will be the greatest swordsman alive, and he is still following that promise till this day. A promise that's being followed even after the person he made the promise to has passed on. This just shows blatantly how much Zoro values loyalty and his promise. It shows that he's willing to continue his promises for as long as they take, and will follow his promises till the end of the world. Following this, we see Zoro's by far most iconic promise. His promise to Luffy to never lose a fight again. This promise came after his loss to Mihawk, the greatest swordsman in the world, the person standing before him and his dream of becoming the greatest. We see this promise, and this promise is a declaration of his undying loyalty to Luffy. This is why Zoro is the most loyal character in all of anime and manga. He's loyal to his captain, and he believes that his words to his captain aren't just promises, they are the law. He has to abide by them, and has to make them happen. This is something that where failure is unacceptable, and this is what makes Zoro's greatest show of loyalty by far more impressive. When Zoro and the Straw Hats lost to Kuma after their win over Gecko Moria in Thriller Bark, Zoro's promise to never lose a fight again was broken as well. And another thing that was broken here was the claim of loyalty to his captain. In Zoro's eyes, I have no doubt that he viewed his promise as a claim of loyalty, and when the promise was broken, he felt like so was his claim of loyalty. And I think this is what drove him to want to redeem his loyalty, even if it meant death. This proves that he believes breaking his word is a sin worth death. To Zoro, loyalty and honesty to his captain mean more than anything in the world. Well, other than his dream to become the greatest swordsman. But at this point, he was willing to give up his dream for his loyalty. His loyalty to his captain is also seen clearly during Water 7 when Usopp leaves the crew. After Usopp leaves the crew, every single crew member is eager to get Usopp back, but Zoro won't let them. I think this is the greatest sign of loyalty, showing of loyalty to his captain that Zoro has had, other than Thriller Bark, of course. Zoro clearly doesn't let anyone mistreat his captain, or disrespect his captain, or hurt his captain, and he clearly doesn't let them get away with it. He's seen as a stone wall in front of Luffy, the gate protecting Luffy, the Great Wall of China to China. Zoro truly loves his captain, and he isn't going to let anyone, even his Usopp, his friend, he isn't going to let personal feelings get in the way of that protection. And he demands an apology from Usopp before letting him rejoin the crew. However, I do think there is one clear, distinct moment when Zoro's character development and character arc peaked. And that was after Sabaody Archipelago. During Sabaody Archipelago, after his crew was destroyed quite easily by Kuma, he realized that he wasn't strong enough to protect his captain. And he wasn't strong enough to be the Great Wall of China to China. He wasn't strong enough to I run out of references. I'm bad at history. I'm sorry. He wasn't strong enough to be the right-hand man. But this meant that he had to get stronger, which is something that was not doing it was out of the question. Doing it was a necessity to follow by the laws that he set for himself, the rules that he made when he made a promise, which is why I think this led to the ultimate sacrifice for Zoro. Other than giving up his body during Thriller Bark, he gave up his dream after Sabaody Archipelago, after hearing the news of Ace's death, after realizing he failed to protect his captain again. He gave up the one thing he was living for most of his life, his dream. He bowed his head down to Mihawk and asked him to train him. And I think if this doesn't show loyalty more than anyone else in anime and manga, nothing will. Zoro gave up a promise he made to his childhood best friend, to arguably his closest friend of his entire lifetime, other than the Straw Hat family. And he gave it up without hesitation. This is the true greatest showing of loyalty I've seen in anime and manga. Seeing Zoro, a man who was driven by his dream for as long as we've known him, be willing to lay it all down to protect his captain from harm, truly shows just how loyal of a man he is, and how his captain, to him, is worth the world. This, however, ends up begging the inevitable question: what about post-time skip Zoro? And this is where, with a heavy heart, I have to say, there really aren't that many moments of pure loyalty that we see from Zoro during the post-time skip. Off the top of my head, I can name a few, but I think the one that really stands out most is his joy when seeing Luffy, but that's not loyalty, that's more of a brotherly relationship between the two that is formed through their loyalty. But I do think that Oda has neglected Zoro a bit during the post-time skip, taking time to flesh out other characters and other members of the Straw Hat, which, as a Zoro stan, I am quite sad about. However, I do think it was necessary for the story. But this just makes me all the more excited to think about the fact that we still haven't seen the moment everyone's been waiting for. Zoro's character development reaching the moment that Zoro wanted it to reach. The moment where he becomes the greatest swordsman in the world. And I do think that when that moment comes around, there will be no more doubt in anyone's mind that Zoro is truly the most loyal character. Not only is he loyal to his captain, but he's still loyal to his childhood friend, who he's still keeping up his promise for. And I think when he accomplishes that promise, Zoro's character arc will come to a circle, to a finish, and his character will be closed and cemented as the most loyal character in all of anime and manga. That's all for today, guys. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed it.